work out. So we're going to transition now, just sort of have some social time. But first, we have to ask Bill up here very quickly to give him his award, the ceremonial bookends that have his tenure up here as chair of the department. You have to come up there.
Thank you. I will say a few things.
Yeah, I know you will. Get out of the way, but I remember I had the power to remove you now.
Really, all I want, there are two things really I think I want to focus on. Number one, it's a good thing I'm not in faculty meetings, because based on what Mike has said, I would not believe a thing he was saying in faculty. He embellished, really carried on in ways that are just not true at CMU meetings. So, I wouldn't believe a thing he said. Secondly, I mean, seriously, thank you. I'm just, I'm grateful. It was, has been, it was an honor and really a privilege to serve in this role. Sure, it was a lot of responsibility and all that, but it's an honor to serve in this role, and I think that Mike understands that. It's really an honor and a privilege to be elected to serve in such a department, because it is an outstanding department. It was an outstanding department when I took in this role, and it'll continue to be an outstanding department. And so being able to serve in this role, in this capacity with such amazing people, it is really an honor. And so I'm grateful and really thankful for that. I shouldn't be alone here. There are many people who should be lined up here. This does not happen in a vacuum. And obviously, well, maybe not so obviously to you, but for me, Carol should be here, my wife. In some extent, it's a family affair. I think that my two girls know who Franco Pistilli and Thorsten Kant are. It's because in fall, in December of 2012, we were trying to hire Thorsten Kant and Franco Pistilli, and it was vacation time, and I was on the phone with Larry and pushing agendas and trying to convince him and this stuff, and they would ask, did whatever happened to that guy Pistilli? And they didn't pronounce it right, but Pistilli and Kant. And then of course, just being able to talk through things with Carol and just listen, and so Carol should be here. The other thing is that many faculty stood alongside and did a lot of work, right? You would know that, but I just have to say that our directors, our associate chairs, whether it's Jason Gold, who is really a backbone, and Mike knows that, I'm sure already. Tom Busey served as the DUS. Ed Hurt was alongside in that first year. Amy Holsworth and Rose DGS for a long time, and that was a big help. And then Karen James as DGS, and associate chairs. Amanda Dietman, John Crystal. These people did a lot of work, and they're a very critical part of the department. And the department runs because of the fact that we have people who are willing to step up and do a lot of work. So, line up, right? I mean, really come up here because of that. Of course, when we talk about faculty, we're talking also about committees, post-com. I know that Mary did a lot of heavy lifting on post-com on some issues, those issues that Mike, I'm kind of glad the perspective he gave. A lot of stuff that Mike does, we'll never see. And, post-com, Mary played a big role through some years, and you've been a big part of that. Mike himself played a big role in some post-com issues early on. So, we've got committees lined up here. I mean, all of you have played an important role in this, space issues, Jack and both Jason. I could just go on, but the other thing is that the staff, right? I mean, Linda made this a point to me, and didn't have to, but just because after you serve as chair, you just recognize the importance of staff. We're the same side, two different sides of the same coin, and whether it's Lana Fish, who served the department with such distinction for so long, and whether we're talking about our current department administrator, Jean Heeb, or Melissa, and Jesse and Alan, and the staff are just amazing. The business office as a whole, TSG, the technical support group, and all of our staff in the main office. The people do a lot of work for us as faculty, and we work together because of that. I also need to be just deeply grateful and express this publicly of students in my lab. Just an amazing group of students that I've had an absolute, I don't know why they choose to work with me, but I just, again, just continue to have just an amazing group of students, and they sustain you when you're thinking about administrative stuff and you have the pleasure of switching to your research and whatnot. And so I'm very grateful to the students that have worked with me in my lab. I also want to acknowledge that the students themselves are just energizing. That is, as a whole, the graduate students and the undergraduates. So it's really energizing to see, this group of students just turn over, but it's just invigorating to work with students, and I've thoroughly enjoyed that. I appreciate what Jason does, appreciate what Tom did as DUS and pushing those agendas along and serving the university and the students in such a deeply important way. Because I feel like I might forget something, I need to make sure I've crossed it all off. Collaborators. Brian O'Donnell, I don't know if Brian's here, but Brian did so much in the background when I was just wallowing in chair stuff. And Brian played such a critical role, and Krista has sort of done the same, really. I've tried not to burden you, Krista, with those things, but I know in the background that keeping the lab and just things that we do has fallen on you and Brian, and I'm so grateful. Brian and I've had such a productive time together, and I'm so grateful to Brian for what he's done. Finally, I'm bullish on and high on PBS. I really am. We are in a good spot, and I think that the future is very bright, and I'm really super excited for Mike and for the team. Love the idea of what you guys have ahead of you, and I think that as a department, we are a community. We really are. It's an amazing community. I remember when Linda left the chair's office, I think she proclaimed, moving back to the 3rd floor, which is the best faculty hallway in the country. And what she was referring to was the fact that the faculty are really connected with one another, that there's this sense of community, there's this sense of common goal, and that we work together in these ways. And I very much appreciate that, and look forward to experiencing that myself. And of course, I'm really grateful to Mike. I thought Peter Todd really had a nice analogy there. And so, thank you very much.